Angelica, I get it. Feeling stuck on that prime message. And yet, here we are. You see, you don't know, and I don't know exactly when you're going to get to that prime message, but the fact is that you are working toward your overall presentation of what you want. And when all the things click together, then you will have that feeling of an epiphany moment, the Matrix moment, the moment where you're riding a bike the first time and you say, wow, this is what it feels like, that all veils lifted thing. But until then, it's going to feel like you have all sorts of different components that you need to work on, and in fact you do. Now here's the thing. I think that you're closer than you think you are. Because I see in your writing, and I see what you're working on, I see that you're unlocking lots of different aspects of the work and the message. And what I would encourage you to remember is this is sort of like the Wizard of Oz. She goes through the entire journey. She walks through fire, if you will, only to discover at the very end that she was given permission externally to actually unlock the thing that she held within herself the entire time. So what I'm offering you is, going back to that sense of riding a bike, you have all the different components that you need to work on. Okay, let's think about the bike for a moment. You have the motor mechanism skills of what it means to pedal the bike and to steer the bike. You have to learn those. Then you have to learn the balance and the correction, right? And that stuff coordinates and integrates with each other, so you meld the two. And then you have this internal thing, part of which is saying, okay, I have to fail many times before I figure it out. So exactly, what does it take to just get back up on it and go, knowing that I will fall numerous times, which I don't like doing. No one likes to fall and get hurt, but I have to fall a few times until I finally get it. And the other part of that internal dialogue is this. You think, how long is it gonna fucking be until I finally get this shit together? And I think that that's the issue here. I think that you have been working really, really hard with that as a large monologue, inner monologue. When am I gonna actually find my why? And in fact, you have calcified that barrier. And it reinforces in you each time. You're trying not to let it reinforce inside you, but in fact it does. And in order to soften that, you have to focus on the other things and know that all the different components of your skills to articulate what you want all need to be worked on at this, concurrently. And then when you have a whole bunch of them gelling, you can feel some of the confidence that starts to soften that callous blockage on the why, and these other things, in softening it, it will draw you toward integrating all the components. And I think that you are closer than you think you are. I think a session with you will be very productive, but I don't want to do it during the UPW thing because it's sense overload. So for me, I feel as though you are working on all of the different skills of the individual stories that are part of this larger narrative, right? And what I want you to do is take the whole thing apart and have chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3, and there's the part about the firewalk, and there's the part about the pineal gland, and there's the interest in how things unify, and you can work on those individual ones, and you will find flow with them, and then you will link them together, and that linkage will find flow amongst the separate components. And in so doing, you start to piece together that the larger narrative also needs to be continually worked on. And I do this with my performances on a regular basis. It's up to you to find the linkage and to find the overall umbrella significance, but it doesn't necessarily always come first. You know as well as I know that there are many different ways to create a painting, and some people create the overall structure and then gradually fill the thing in, and other people work from a corner and start to flesh the thing out, and other people work from a broad palette and start to see what it means to embellish certain sections, and other people work from a very large perspective of, hyper-realism, where they develop, they take a photo and then they go about the business of breaking it into a grid and then working on the grid. So there's no one way, and your unique needs in your progression are yours and yours alone. So I am working with you to develop certain components upon which you can stack an understanding of a larger ability, for which you will be able to layer on top when we can, when the confidence enables you to soften that big looming issue of why haven't I gotten my why yet? And in so doing, you will actually be able to extract the why from what you already have. It's in your words. I see it. It's close.